Hi, Mark, and today I want to talk about a fight against just another drug in the UK, an illegal one. The phenomenon is not new. Nitrous oxide is cheap and readily available. That is why it's popular as a drug. And Great Britain is discussing a sales ban, but they're discussing it since 2015, but they started again. But what is laughing gas? Laughing gas is actually called nitrous oxide. As the name suggests, it's a gas. The German Federal Center for Health and Education describes the drug in its drug dictionary as colorless and smelling sweet. Nitrous oxide is used in both industry and medicine. Nitrous oxide is available to everyone in the supermarket, for example, as a cream charger for whipped cream dispensers. Online shops are also thriving on the internet, offering the gas in different flavors and in large quantities. Because possession and purchase are legal here in Germany, for example, the scene also speaks of a so-called legal high. The European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, the EMCDDA, describes the drug with a feeling of detachment. Anyone who has ever been treated with it in a dental practice may know the feeling. In the body, it works biochemically in such a way that it docks onto a coenzyme and then inhibits some processes in protein formation. The intoxication is rather short. The feeling can be felt for a few minutes up to a maximum of half an hour. In order to curb the consumption of nitrous oxide in the private sector, stricter rules have been enforced in the Netherlands since this year. The gas has been listed in the Opium Act since 2023, and the United Kingdom is also currently considering a nitrous oxide ban in some areas. And in Germany, nitrous oxide is not a narcotic within the meaning of the Narcotics Act. The European Drug Agency EMCDDA published a report last winter that attested to a growing problem in the EU with regard to the abuse of nitrous oxide. In recent years, there has been a slight but significant increase in reports to poison control centers in some EU countries, including Denmark, France, and the Netherlands. And this does not seem to apply to Germany, though. We have an overview of about 25 years and had 50 cases in total, including one severe case, was explained by a toxicologist. There are about 3 to 7 emergency calls per year, either privately or via the emergency rooms of the hospitals in the center, which is responsible for all of northern Germany. Laughing gas also does not play a major role in the anamnesis of inpatient addictions in Germany here, in particular, according to the chairman of the German head office for addiction queries. However, this does not rule out the possibility that the hedonic recreational use of nitrous oxide may have increased. Laughing gas has been a drug that has been available in principle for decades. The EMCDDA attributes the growing popularity to the easy availability, also the low prices because it's sold in large quantities, and the general perception as a relatively safe. They also make some observations. Laughing gas is mainly consumed in small amounts, for example, several balloons in one evening a few times a year, and the consumption of large amounts and doing that very regular is really rare. As with any drug, prolonged and intensive use can sometimes cause considerable damage, for example, to blood formation. The formation of red and white blood cells and the platelets is inhibited, which could lead to pernicious anemia if used for a long time. That's a subform of anemia. The experts explain that a nerve damage, a polyneuropathy, can also occur. It is unclear what dose causes chronic toxicity. With a greater amount used, the greater the risk, though. And there is a warning here in Germany at least. Freeze burn from the cylinders. Unconsciousness from a proportion of 90% in the breathing air, numbness and dizziness, and unpredictable consequences of mixed use with other drugs is there. All symptoms that can occur after a single use already. But there indeed was a development during the centuries. In 1772 already, laughing gas was only just discovered and consumed in the UK by the upper classes at laughing gas parties. And in the 1960s, nitrous oxide is used in dentistry to relieve pain and anxiety. And in the 1970s, gas is handily sold in balloons for the first time, for example at music festivals. And in 2010, interest in nitrous oxide is on the rise again, especially in the party scene and at raves. Between the ages of 16 and 24, nitrous oxide, or more specifically, nitrous oxide is the second most commonly used drug in the UK. Minister Michael Gove is backing a change in legislation now being put in motion by the government. He justifies his view of things with a potentially harmful effect on the brain and the nervous system of young people, that the warning we heard from Germany as well. Gove explained this in a British Sunday show. And last month, the government released a statement saying it would step up action on nitrous oxide. And yesterday it was announced that possession or sale of the drug would be illegal under the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971. I think everyone who has had the chance to walk through our parks in our big cities has seen these little silver capsules. Not only are they an example of people blighting public spaces, but they're also using a drug that can have psychological and neurological effects and contribute to overall antisocial behavior, is what the conservative politician said. However, the Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs, the ACMD, which advises the government on issues related to drugs and their effects, opposes the government's proposed law. The ACMD said earlier this month that penalties for use and possession of drugs were disproportionate to the extent of the drug-related harm. The new laws are part of the new tougher legislation for drug restrictions. The government is looking to step up its crackdown, and the manufacture or supply of nitrous oxide for consumption is now illegal under the Psychoactive Substances Act 2016. And soon, possession, importation and distribution will also be illegal. But that's a fight against a drug where it's a bit difficult when there is definitely private use for the proper use of it, like the whipped cream dispersers and stuff like that. But yeah, as I said, they're talking about this. I found that they were talking in 2015 about this already, but nothing happened then so much. And now they're talking about it again. We will see if this really comes now and it will be completely banned, which will be a problem for some people who like whipped cream, for example. For balloons, you usually use helium. That works better when you want to have them float. I personally don't know how this thing works because my dentist offers this. I'm not a big friend of needles. And I'm not a big friend of a dentist, although I have to go there regularly, obviously. And I had some root works and stuff that makes me love them even less. But they have on offer that you can get laughing gas to make the whole process easier. But we have a good health system here in Germany, and I don't have to pay on my usual treatments at the dentist. But if I want to use laughing gas instead of the needles and be a little bit further away, I have to pay €100 myself, and that was something. It wasn't worth it for me because then I have to fight through. €100 is €100. That's a lot of money, especially when you try to make your living with YouTube on politics, which is not easy. And especially when somebody wrote, you need a new microphone. Yes, I needed a new microphone. That's why this one day was with a sound not that good last week, because my expensive microphone broke and I had to buy another one, which was no fun with the current income here. That I can promise you. But yes, the sound is good again. But so I'm definitely not going to spend €100 at the dentist for one treatment with laughing gas. And so I personally have no experience, but if you use it regularly, and all the experts here at least, and in the Netherlands obviously too, when they changed the law now, say that it's not a very healthy thing to do, like a lot of other things. But if they can work on this, they will work on this. And that might be something I will not really criticize the British government for in the future. But we will see how they will do it. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.